Welcome back to Chow Time Pods. Your host Red. I got a video today from Bozy versus the World. Our shroom couple made a short with me tagged in it to watch this video, so here I am.
I still didn't know the extent of their relationship, and I still don't. And I'm never going to say this to me of what it looks like.
You fucking liar, you liar ass bitch, you fucking liar bitch. I
think I like Bozo already.
No idea where this video is gonna go, but the title is My Husband Left Me for My Daughter, Part 1.
The way women just make titles and stuff just to insinuate some nasty things about men.
Look, I love a little bit of TikTok drama, but apparently this one is incredibly unique because this mother tells a long story about her husband leaving her for her daughter. But after multiple parts, a lot of commenters had some questions, and then at the end, supposedly the daughter responds. I think everything is kind of still up in the air, but according to my producers, it could be giving narc mom. But let's not jump the gun too much, and let's
I think most single moms out there are definitely narc moms.
give the story a chance.
Yes, this will be story time part 1. I am going to preface this video by telling you that I'm going to reveal some embarrassing information. That
About yourself or about every other loved one around you, and put them on blast.
happened to me. And everything that I'm about to tell you is my experience. This is what happened to me. So I'm going to start at the beginning. And that's why this is going to be a long video, because this is a year that this went on. So we have to go all the way back to June, July of 2024.
2025? This was not that long ago. It's 2026.
He just out of the blue said to me, I don't think I can, I'm worried that I'm going to hurt myself because I'm crumbling under the financial pressure of this relationship.
Sounds reasonable. Some relationship can be a detriment to people's finances.
And I said, what do you mean? You know, he paid all the bills. I had my own business, and all the money that I made went into buying groceries and to growing my business. Okay. He paid.
So all you paid was groceries, even though you had your own business. Got it.
All the bills. So we had separate bank accounts. We lived in a home together that we purchased with my mom. She put in $251,000 cash as a down payment on our home. We put in like $38,000, I think, when we bought it together.
Sure.
When my mom passed away, I inherited her portion of our home. Okay, so I just want to preface that in this video.
Oh my God, people in chat are saying that they're locked in. Dude, I'm locked in too, but I'm looking for lie detection.
We're laying in bed. He tells me that.
I don't know. Half of it feels like misery lies to me, but you know, she might be better at it. She's a woman. She listens to women lie all the time.
He tells me that we're basically.
What did I just say? I'm looking for lie detection. What did I mean to say? I'm looking for lies. I'm turning on the lie detector. I'm looking
to detect the lie.
When my mom passed away, I inherited her portion of our home. Okay, so I just want to preface that in this video.
Okay.
So we're laying in bed. He tells me this. He tells me that we're in debt. And he's maxed out all of our credit cards. And he's maxed out our home equity line of credit, which was $50,000.
Okay.
And I had no idea what he had maxed out the home equity line of credit, because like I said, we had separate bank accounts. All the bills were in his name. So he took care of all the financial stuff. All my money went towards my business.
The interest on that is gonna be real nasty. That's not even a mortgage at that point. Y'all may as well just get out of that shit and rent. Look, if you own a home, you know that ain't
and home expenses as far as things around the house. So I'm mortified. I don't know how to fix this situation. So in my mind, I'm like, you know, I'm not mad about the money. I'm thinking, how can I fix this? How can I save my husband if he's thinking about hurting himself? So fast forward to August, and
Why are you always lying? That is not the first thought that was in her head. Of, is my husband okay after this? I'm almost positive that was not the first thing that she jumped to.
I get a phone call from my daughter, and she asks me if I'll fly out to Virginia, we were living in Idaho at the time, if I would fly out to Virginia to help paint her house. She had acquired a home from her dad when he passed away, and it got picked up on a television show. And they were doing a 30-minute series on her home, the renovation of it.
Ain't they got budget to call somebody to paint the house?
Right? Like, why would you need to call your mom to do this?
Why you gotta fly out? She gonna get a spot on the show?
It's on the Magnolia Network.
Okay.
They had a deadline. She called me up and she said, would you come out and paint? I need help painting. We're not going to get the house done in time for the taping. Please, will you come out and help me? So the next day I got on a plane and I flew to Virginia. And for 2 weeks, I stayed at my daughter's house and I painted the whole entire home. 3 floors, doors.
She acted like she did all that work by herself or something. I painted all 3 floors and the entire home.
All the stuff, trim, like everything that they needed me to do. On the day that they were taping the show, I was still painting. Like I was painting from 6 o'clock in the morning until 11 o'clock at night some days. Just me by myself. So I save the day. We do the taping. While I'm there,
This just sounds so narcissistic. I saved the day.
I'm telling my daughter about what my husband had shared with me about the money and how he's concerned about harming himself. Well, she had just acquired this house, and this huge house. Now she's got a mortgage payment. So she says, why don't you guys come live with me and my boyfriend? They were living in the house together. Why don't you come live with us, and I can get your husband a job at the place where I work, and you guys can live with us for a little while, pay off your debt, and then you can buy a house here or whatever.
Hey, really quick, fun little exercise. I want to ask how you're feeling right now. As you're watching this story, are you feeling like open to hearing her side of things and maybe
No, because it feels very one-sided and narcissistic just by her saying, I saved the day and I did all the work. I painted the whole house. It just sounds very not real, like a little bit too much embellishment. But that's a lot of women's stories, is a lot of embellishment. So.
she's, telling the truth? Or do you immediately feel on guard like, my
That's
gut's
me.
telling me something and I don't like something
I'm just trying to figure out what's what.
about this? Or option C. I think that's an interesting thing to assess here because it kind of tells you what type of person you could be, right?
True.
It's like, I'm not gonna
I'm definitely a judgy McJudgerson over here.
trust this, or I'm gonna be super trusting. I'm a dumb bitch. It's me. But I just want to point out something about her storytelling here. I truly am just trying to be open to this, despite what the notes here say, or like what some of the commenters have said. I haven't read any of the TikTok comments yet. We'll go through those in a little bit. But I just want to mention with her storytelling, there's something interesting about it. Sometimes when I hear extremely authentic, raw storytellers, there's just this flow.
Correct.
That just makes a lot of sense. And it feels like everything is correct. Her storytelling feels like, here's this piece. Here's this piece I want you to have. And here's this piece over here.
Yeah, she jumped from the husband telling her that to all of a sudden the story about the house getting painted.
And it doesn't feel as connective. Now, that could just be her method of storytelling, but it's not giving me that raw, authentic feel that I have that makes me instantly
Agreed.
trust that what somebody is saying is fully true. But I'm not having any big alarm bells going off yet, and I'll just...
I just hear I saved the day and I painted the whole house. I did this by myself.
let it flow.
I wanted to do that. That sounded like an amazing idea. And so I went home, I talked to my husband about it, and he was like, no, absolutely not at first.
Yes, I just want to point this out. A tiny gnome said, it feels like she's building an argument to convince me of something. Yes!
Yes.
That's what it feels.
That's what propaganda is, right? It's just now I realize what propaganda is, like trying to show you a narrative to make you agree with that narrative without telling you that it's a narrative in a
Like
sense.
to me, and that...
I didn't know that until I watched a lot more things about propaganda because I asked you guys about it. I'm so horrible at figuring it out.
presentation is starting to put me on edge, but I haven't heard anything else yet. So, wow, this is really interesting.
Friend, they were living in the house together. Why don't you come live with us, and I can get your husband a job at the place where I work, and you guys can live with us for a little while, pay off your debt, and then you can buy a house here or whatever. Well, I wanted to do that. That sounded like an amazing idea. And so I went home, I talked to my husband about it, and he was like, no, absolutely not at first. So then I convinced him to, at least talk to the guy, talk to the owner of the company. So He talks to the owner of the company, okay? And the company is a home construction company, and there's 4 employees at this place. And my daughter's one of the employees, okay?
Okay, so
it's
she's
super
working
small.
with her daughter.
And oh, by the way, I want to preface this video by letting you know that while we were living in Idaho, and for 7 years that we were living there, my husband worked for my brother's company. That's it been in my family my whole life. My grandfather started it.
See? It's, again, very narcissistic. Everything he has is because of me and mine.
So he was working for my family business when we left, moved to Virginia, and started staying with my daughter. He takes the job interview on a Thursday. And on Friday, the guy offers him the job. On Sunday, he's on a plane to Virginia to stay with my daughter and to start his new job. I stay behind in Idaho for 8 weeks to sell all of our home, to put it on the market, to show it, to pack all of our everything up. Meanwhile, I'm still...
Also, this whole thing about Magnolia was shooting my daughter's house, and I painted everything from 6 a.m. until 11 a.m. And then my husband flew out to...
I'm glad you're mentioning it.
Go get this job, and I stayed behind and did all the hard work, selling everything, da-da-da-da-da. One, I don't know if I believe this.
No.
Something about it feels off. And then 2, why would you do that?
Correct.
Okay? Why the fuck would anybody do that? If there's all these people in the house and you're sitting here being the one painting, you either like want to have a victim complex or like you are not telling the truth. Most people would speak up and say, hey babe, can you stay an extra week and help me sell the whole goddamn house? Hey, Magnolia, can you hire somebody to help me paint? Like, it's giving victim complex. It's giving savior. Like, speak up for yourself a little bit too.
Running my businesses. I have an art studio, I teach online, and I had a dog sitting business. So I was taking care of both.
A dog sitting business? So you're just a dog sitter? I'm sure it wasn't a real business. Yeah, it might be like a little hustle thing. A business, I would say you have employees doing it also. That's when you have a real business going on. That where you can kind of talk about it the way you're talking about things.
Both my businesses, trying to wrap up our home and everything, while he just picked up, went and started his new job and began living with my daughter and her...
Because you told them to.
Boyfriend.
By the way.
So they're working at the same company. Okay. So for 8 weeks, I'm just living my life out in Idaho, like, thinking I'm getting ready to sell my dream home. I'm going to live with my daughter. We're going to travel.
I'm going to sell my dream home. Okay. Right. I'm on edge now. Fuck you for that. To slip in the phrase, I'm just living my life. I think I'm going to sell my dream home and blah, blah, blah. There was no remorse, no sadness,
Correct.
No grief over that. She wanted to let you know that she was making a sacrifice, and it was a big one, and she's doing it all on her own. I don't like this. I'm switching. I don't like this.
We're going to get to spend time with my
Hey, I'm glad she switched, because I said that right at the beginning.
Kids. It's going to be amazing, and I'm so excited. So
yeah, it's actually kind of fun going back and forth with Bozo on this. It's actually
I get there. 8 weeks I spend packing up everything. His new job is going great, apparently, and I'm just super happy to get there. So I drive myself all the way across the U.S., pulling a U-Haul, me and my dog, with half of our stuff, and I leave the other half in our garage in Idaho. So I get there, and I've been on the road for...
I do just want to point this out. This doesn't change my opinion on some of the things I just said, but 3 Jules said, as a Gen Xer, we have a difficult time asking for help. That is true. Y'all don't ask for shit. I forgot. That is true. And no matter...
True. I don't really ask for help that much. Even if I had I have my baker with me. He lives with me. His name is Ariel. And he can help me take out the trash at the donut shop sometimes. Because the trash can's pretty big and it has rollers and stuff, but it's hard to pick up the trash can by yourself and dump it into the dumpster. I'll still figure out a way to do it by myself. I don't even ask Ariel. And Ariel, tell the truth, he does the exact same thing as me. If he takes out the trash, and he'll just try to figure it out himself and doesn't even ask me for anything. So it's just older generation tries not to ask. We were trained to not be a burden to others. I think that's probably the big thing.
No matter how many times I tell my mom, girl, say something, do something. y'all just don't have it in you. All right, we'll let that one slide. But there's a couple of other things in here that are not sitting well with me.
4 days, mind you, okay? And they've known I'm coming for 2 weeks. And I get there with a tiny little U-Haul, expecting them to have a room cleared out for me to unpack my office so I can get to work. And they haven't even cleaned the room out. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to leave the stuff in the U-Haul till however long. I've just driven cross country. I'm exhausted. They acted like they weren't even happy that I was there. So I argued with my daughter for 3 days about unpacking my stuff. And she's like, you need to paint that room before you can move in. I want this room painted and cleaned up before you move in your stuff. So I was like, okay.
You for some
so I end
reason.
up leaving all my stuff.
I thought you painted all of the house by yourself already. All of a sudden, there's a room that's not painted?
In the U-Haul, basically, I unpacked some stuff in around her house, and I'm forced to have to now paint this office before I can set up my stuff to work.
She tries to paint that as her daughter being rude to her and not helping her. But for some reason, I'm picking up, it sounds more like her daughter was trying to set boundaries and was like, I'm not unpacking your stuff. I'm not painting this for you, XYZ. And even her interpretation of it kind of sounds like her daughter setting boundaries.
Hey, things are weird. I'm being given the silent treatment. I can tell there's like this hostility from my daughter towards me.
I don't
She's
think she
upset that I'm
you.
smoking cannabis, which is ridiculous because she smokes it and so does her boyfriend. The few times that she would talk to me, it would always be to complain either about something I was doing in the house, cleaning the floors wrong, using the wrong cleaning product.
Oh, I mean, the basics of women owning a house and then wanting you to clean it certain ways. That's everybody or every woman.
Or something her boyfriend was doing. She hated that he lived there. She wished she could kick him out, but she needed his money because she got this giant house and now she's got...
Right there, throwing her daughter under the bus. This whole story time is about throwing her daughter under the bus, but she's sitting here talking poorly, very poorly about her daughter. I can't wait to see the daughter's response.
Like a $2,000 a month mortgage payment. She can't afford the house by herself. That's why we kind of were like, we can help her out. She can help us out.
So much trash talk about her.
Anyway,
That's what women do, bozo. They come on the internet and trash talk their family. Trash talk their loved ones, the ones that they care about the most.
constantly complained about her boyfriend because he drank too much. She hated that he drank. They were constantly fighting about the fact that he was drinking. Well, he hated his life because she was miserable to him. She didn't love him. She didn't want him there, but she knew she couldn't afford it without his money.
Wow. In literally 25 seconds, she rattles off, my daughter smokes weed. She's hostile to me. She's giving me the silent treatment. She doesn't even love her boyfriend. She doesn't like him. Like,
She's
she
just
complains
using
about
him
him
for
all
money.
the time. She just uses her boyfriend for money. Just crammed all of that in there. She thought she had laid out enough foundation for you to feel bad for her that she didn't even realize that she was just going to start talking.
Yep, that was the whole foundation that, now everybody should just hate the daughter because the daughter is such an evil person.
Just slamming her daughter. Uh-oh. All right. I forgot, possible narc mom aside, this is a story about the husband leaving the mom for the daughter. But let's see if that's actually true, because that could also be a smear towards her daughter.
This is the part 2. So we are in roughly December. Christmas was lovely. My son, who is an adult, also came over, spent Christmas with us. It was amazing. Then in January, we got a phone call that our house in Idaho, while it was on the market, flooded. It had a flood. And before the realtor found out what was going on, they pumped out something like 55,000 gallons of water out of our house. It was a complete nightmare, and we were trying to deal with that.
That sounds very unlikely. 55 gallons out of your house? What kind of flood was this?
From Virginia in Idaho, and my husband is a construction
gallons.
project manager. My ex-husband was. And he told me not to worry about anything. He would take care of all of the things that were involved with that. So fast forward to February, and my daughter still is just really hostile towards me. I can't, my husband is starting to become distant. They are constantly just like at the dinner table laughing with each other. But if I try to get in on the conversation, it was like you could immediately tell that I wasn't welcome in it.
You did something. Somebody does not like you. You have unsavory behaviors. And if you had just been with your husband for the past couple of years, but then he meets your daughter and they realize you're both crazy. Like, yeah.
This is actually very possible. What Bozo is saying, like, oh yeah, they actually finally had some time alone to talk to each other about their mother, and they're just like, yeah.
That's how it's going to come off. This isn't like she's being treated like the redheaded stepchild. Like, something has happened that you are leaving out. And this makes your story less credible to me, because if she were to take a moment to be like, look, I wasn't always a great mom, or I did XYZ, or we've had problems in the past, I feel like it would be a bit more believable. But like, you are telling me a story, trying to present it as factual while clearly leaving out something that is really important. And I'm not going to forget that.
They were always talking about their job and laughing together. And it was like this real buddy club, but I wasn't included. So I had been asking my husband several times to please stop talking to my daughter about our marriage. He was basically using her to confide in for all of our problems. And because she had issues with me and wanted me to do things that I refused to do.
I do admit that is not something you should be doing. You shouldn't be confiding in your kids about your own relationships.
For her, as far as my life goes, you know, the two of them were at work during the day. They were texting each other. Then they you know, were at work together during the day, could be talking about planning. Come to find out, they've been, you know, for months before I even knew about this. I found out about this after the fact, that both of them had been smearing my name to my family, to my father, to my brothers, to my best friend, to people.
Smearing or telling the truth?
People around town.
I'm going to roll my eyes at that because dude, this one's kind of tough. Because another thing that was really surprising to me is she was like, I'm going to dust off this old book and tell you a tale from long, long ago, 2025. And then she cites a moment from December of 2025. Babe, that was 5 months ago. It's not giving, oh, I've been holding this in for years and it caused me so much pain and I finally need to let it out. It's, they're not going to get me and I need to do something about this. It just happened months ago.
Yep.
But everyone,
No, this is kind of like the Save My Image campaign going on right now.
let's brace ourselves because I do think
I was not planning on doing this full video because it was very long, but I'm in it.
the daughter and the husband texting quite a bit is a little odd, especially if it's getting flirty, and I don't know where this is about to go.
Just telling them that I was lazy, that
I'm almost positive it ain't flirty or anything, but she just wants to insinuate all these things to make them both look bad.
refused to get a job, that I maxed out all of his credit cards and I got him in all this financial debt. And
That's what I thought pretty much you did. You said you had a dog walking business and an art business. You're broke. You're poor. Like, stop lying.
addicted to drugs and all of this shit. The two of them were
I mean, you did admit you smoked cannabis, but
doing unbeknownst to me for months before I found out about it. So in February, I'm just going along with life thinking, okay, well, my marriage is stressful, but it's because we're living in this environment. I kept telling my husband, we need to get out of here. We need to find a place to live. We were living on a tiny little island. There was no housing. Everything that we looked at, he kept telling me, no, we were looking at houses. This whole time we were looking at houses. And then at Christmas time, I have to back this one little step up because at Christmas time, we got into a huge fight going to the airport to pick up his son.
I don't get how they're looking for houses. They're barely selling a house. They're in debt. How can you buy another house? Are you just looking for a place to stay, like an like to rent? The way she's talking about, as if they were perfectly well off to go buy a brand new house right away.
Who was coming to stay with us for Christmas. And on the way there, I told my husband that if he didn't stop speaking to my daughter about our marriage, that I was going to get a divorce. I was setting a hard boundary. And he told me in the car that day that he would not stop speaking to my daughter about our relationship.
I'm going to call out something very particular. She says, I was setting a hard boundary. I don't believe that she's the type of person that sets boundaries or respects boundaries at all.
Nope.
Boundaries are not important to her. I think that verbiage came from somebody else that said that to her. They said to her, quote, I am setting a hard boundary. Just like I said before, it sounds like the daughter setting a boundary. I don't think those are her words. She does not set boundaries and she does not respect boundaries at all.
Nope.
Out of the car, went into the airport. I stayed in the car because I was so mad at him. He immediately called my daughter on the phone and told her that I just threatened him with divorce. The two of them were talking about it, whatever happened. I made the decision right then and there that, I mean, I still was giving him chances, even though I told him the boundary was set, which was on me. So, of course, this behavior is going to continue. So February rolls around, and the two of them have to go on a 5-day work trip to Las Vegas. And her boyfriend and I stay behind at the house, and for 5 days, the two of them go with their boss and...
See, look, the way she insinuates things.
You know, a couple other people to this convention in Las Vegas.
Italia Dean said the husband is being kind of weird. You know, sometimes I like to make my little predictions, okay? If this really is some type of narc mom, manipulative, abusive, or something like that, they tend to pick men that are very easygoing, kind of easy to manipulate, easy to control, easy to make them doubt themselves. That is a narc mom or narc woman's perfect victim. A man that just says, okay, and doesn't really know what's going on. But if that guy, this is all speculation, has been wildly abused for like 10, 15, 20 years or something like that.
The man is broke. The man did his best to keep a house together and still ended up in debt.
And like the wife is constantly like, no, you're wrong, I'm right. But suddenly he connects with somebody that knows her very well and has been through her abuse and helps him understand, wait, you're not terrible, you're not awful.
Yeah, which would be the daughter. It's like, wait, dad, she's been mistreating the shit out of you. And he's just like, what? Oh, maybe she is. I feel like that's a lot of husbands. Like, wait. Life is better? Life is not supposed to be like this? Wait, what?
Then he's going to gravitate towards that person. However, hold your horses because she might have some weird proof of this relationship, okay? So I want you guys to be prepared to carry out nuance. And I just want to remind you guys, like, the internet for the past couple of years, everything has been A and B, okay? Everything's black and white, this side or that side. I see this kind of like juggling, but only being able to juggle 2 balls. It's not very impressive, right?
Hey. It's not easy to be juggling my 2 balls every day, constantly. Calm down. I know it's not impressive to you.
But if you can handle nuance, you can juggle 3 balls. You can juggle 4 balls. It's very easy and honestly quite silly to only be able to juggle 2 in complex situations.
Hey. I only got 2 to juggle.
I urge you to be able to juggle 3, 4, 5 balls. So that next ball coming in might be proof of this alleged relationship. But that doesn't take the narc ball out of rotation, right? So it can feel uncomfortable to do all of these at once, but you can do it. So, anywho.
And when they come home from that trip, my daughter is refusing to speak to me. Will not speak one word to me. She comes home from the airport with him, walks in, doesn't even say hello to me. I was washing the dishes. I'll never forget it. She walked right by me, went upstairs, didn't say anything to me, and then just went on a silent treatment. Like from here on out. This is in February. By March, she still isn't speaking to me. And I can't understand why. My husband is growing extremely distant. He's siding with her. He's telling me that I need to just conform, just do what she wants so she'll stop treating you this way. There was nothing I was going to do that was ever going to satisfy her and start treating me right. So I tell him,
probably how the husband felt.
I'm going to go back to Idaho and I'm going to stay at our house for a couple weeks because they're doing all the renovation from the flood and everything. And we got an offer on our house and we were supposed to close on April 24th. And I'm going to go back to the house for 2 weeks. It's too stressful living in this environment. I'll sleep on a mattress on the floor and make sure my house is ready for the new homeowners when the time comes.
You hear that? My house is ready for the new homeowner.
You can fly out to Idaho a couple days before we get ready to close, sign the paperwork, and then we'll get our stuff and drive back to Virginia.
See, and then she said, oh, I stayed back for months to do all the closing stuff and putting my house on the market and all this. Really? Did you really do all that?
So in the meantime, I've got a realtor. We're looking at homes. We're looking to buy property. And my husband...
Again, looking to buy what property with what money? Right? Like, you guys are in debt. He took out mortgages out of your home. What money do you have to go buy another property?
And I are going and looking at these different houses, and he's telling me he really wants to build because he works for a custom home builder. So then we started looking for property. And so we're doing this like every single day.
Oh,
so he's been at his job long enough now to have health insurance. Okay. So he gets health insurance and he tells me he's going to call and get an appointment because he needs to get a checkup. He's going to be 57. He needs to get a checkup and a new doctor. So I'm like, okay, great. So he calls, makes an appointment. They do all the testing, whatever. And then I guess like a couple days later, I get a text message on my phone and it's from the pharmacy in town. And it says my husband's name and it says, you have a prescription ready. And I've worked in pharmacy my whole life, so I know how pharmacies operate. When I was at my daughter's house in August.
You say that you worked that all in your life, but it seemed like you were very unemployed for a very long time.
I got some migraine medication filled at that pharmacy, and I guess when they got the prescription for him, they had my phone number, so they put my phone number in as his phone number. So I got...
Highly doubt that.
The text notification that he had a prescription ready. So when I got home that day, I said, hey, I got a text that you had a prescription ready. And I said, I thought you said that everything went great and that you didn't need any testing or whatever. And he's like, oh, well, I don't know what they called in for me. And I said, what do you mean they don't know what they called in for you? That's not how it works. The doctor asks you if you want a prescription.
There it is right there. She's showing like what her actual behaviors are with people. She gets information. She comes in. She interrogates. What do you mean that you don't know what the... I have it right here in the text message. Your prescription, and it says like the first couple letters of whatever it is ready right here.
And tell you the truth, men are just kind of like that. Wait, you're going to send me some medicine? All right, whatever. And then we just go about our day. It's not like we're like, oh my God, like I got medicine now. I got to take, whatever.
Like it's giving she's unpleasant to speak to.
Ask you what pharmacy you use. They ask you if you know the phone number. They tell you they're going to fax the prescription over. They're going to call it in or email it or whatever. And then they let you know that it's going to be at the pharmacy ready.
I mean, if it's a small town, you kind of just send it to the whatever pharmacy that's closest to you. So
for you to pick up. So what do you mean you don't know he called something in for you? And he goes, well, I don't know. I'll have to call and find out. I have to call the pharmacy. And I said, okay. So, I waited for like a day. And then the next day I said to him, I said, hey, what did you call the pharmacy and figure out what was going on? And he...
Why are you bugging him about this? Like, this is also one of those things. I'm listening to this like, why are you bugging me about this? I already told you I'll take care of it. I'll check out what the hell's this. Now you're just constantly badgering me and nagging me about medicine and stuff that I don't even know or care about.
He goes, yeah,
this is different.
It turns out he called in a little blue pill prescription for my husband. And I said, why did he do that? Because we hadn't been having sex for like 6 months because we were...
All I can say is she is not being honest about the context of this conversation over the last 2 or 3 days. None of the way that she found out, the way that this all happened, I don't believe it. It does.
Agreed. Like her getting a text randomly from the pharmacy. No, that does not happen.
It makes sense. She's leaving something out. She was not pleasant in this situation at all.
Living in my daughter's house. And I said, who is that for? What do you mean you've never had a problem with that before? What is this?
Oh,
and he goes, oh, well, I mean, I did ask for it because I just got it. I got it to make me feel better. I said, to make you feel better with who? Because you're not sleeping with me. So who is the prescription for? Husband?
Oh, you are
At this
nasty.
point, I point blank asked him if there was something going on between him and my daughter. Because she wanted her boyfriend out. They're working at the same company.
See, she just jumped to this conclusion all on her own. Right.
Going to work together.
She better have some crazy proof if she's going to go online and try.
I don't think she does, Bozo.
This is really. Ooh, I want to read the comments on TikTok so bad. I gotta wait. We gotta wait. There's only 2 more of her parts, and then I think the daughter's.
Oops! I keep on calling her Bozo. I think it's Bozy. Sorry, Bozy.
Part.
My bad.
Same place. They're taking trips together. She's not speaking to me. He's not speaking to me. He's telling me he's refusing to stop involving my daughter, who's 28, and not his child, in our marriage while we're living in her house.
Oh, it's not his daughter. Now it makes a little bit more sense, I guess. I thought, okay, whatever.
And so, of course, everything that they're communicating, I'm the bad guy in the situation.
I mean...
So she's taking it all out on me. Pretty soon, the 2 of them are just feeding off of each other. And then her poor boyfriend, he doesn't know what to do. I can tell that he feels so sorry for me, but he can't stop it.
Yeah, she doesn't.
That is crazy to say that your daughter is sleeping with your husband publicly, all just because he got some prescription for Viagra. He could be sleeping with prostitutes because y'all haven't had sex in a year. Like,
true.
I'm more thinking about the daughter right now because a family member spreading incestual rumors. I know it's not her biological father, but it has the same damaging impact, is really f***ing disgusting. Oh my
Diabolical levels.
God, if this lady is like really lying this hard on her kid's name, the blowback will be critical.
At this point, it's March, and I'm ready to bounce. I've got to get...
March? Was this last month? The timing of this also is really giving vengeful. It's really giving vengeful.
Out of this toxic environment. I'm going to go back to my...
I like Bozy. She seems to understand women nature.
House and make sure everything is copacetic with my home and sale of my property. So I drive myself back to Idaho, stay there for 2 weeks, getting all my stuff ready. Meanwhile, I'm thinking that my husband and I are going to buy some property. We're going to start building a home. I am still...
Again, with what money? This is why this story sounds so stupid to me. You were in debt. You took out mortgages. You had to sell the house to get rid of everything so you can be okay. What money to buy new property and build a brand new house?
Like hoping that my marriage is going to survive this move and the situation with my daughter.
If she legitimately thought that her daughter was sleeping with her husband, there would be so much more emotion behind that.
Correct.
But if using that as a tool, knowing that it's not true, but she makes it up as a way to control them or shame them or mess with them, that is actually exactly how she would present it.
Correct.
Emotionless and as though it was a tool. If that situation were seriously happening and she seriously believed it,
she'd be bawling her eyes out.
It would be the first thing that she'd mentioned with great emotion.
I'm thinking that maybe I can salvage my marriage if I get out from under her roof.
Also, if you're f***ing my daughter, the marriage is over.
Right. I was also like, wait, you assume this, but you still want to make the marriage work. And you just think leaving your daughter's house is going to fix all this. Right.
If you would leave your husband, if he really was sleeping with your daughter, 2 in the chat, if you would try to make the marriage work. Babe, honey, sweetie, girl, nobody would. Nobody would. Like, nobody would even, like, say that or consider that. It is so, like, carnally wrong, biological or not. I don't believe you that you were like, let's see if my marriage can survive this once I get out of my daughter's house. You fucking liar, you fucking liar-ass bitch, you fucking lying-ass liar bitch.
Okay, and just get back to focusing on me and my husband. So I get back to Idaho. I'm doing all this stuff with my house. I'm making sure that my brother's company is doing all the things that they're supposed to be doing and that my house is prepared and ready for the new owners. And so,
again, keep on saying my house, my house.
4 days before we're supposed to close on my house, my husband flies into Boise, and I go to pick him up at the airport. And it was like 1:30 in the morning when his flight arrives. And I am so happy to see him. I'm so excited to see him because I'm like, oh my God, I finally have my husband here without my daughter around. We're going to be in our house. Like, we can finally have some alone time. And so
finally, I can manipulate him without my daughter telling my husband about my behaviors and who I really am. Like, finally, a narc would love this. Like, let me get you back into my clutches.
We get back home. Of course, we're like intimate because we haven't seen each other for 2 weeks. Plus, we hadn't been being intimate because we were living with her. And so then the next day we get up, we're doing all the things. We go do some shopping. We have some lunch. We go to dinner. We're talking to the realtor about property. And then I'm thinking, okay, I can save this. I can save this marriage, right? Things are looking good. That night, second night, we're intimate again. We're really like, things are going really great.
Remember I said she was gonna lay it on thick? Fun fact, one of my like favorite subreddits to read for the longest time was Dead Bedrooms. I don't know why. It was the craziest subreddit I've ever read. You know why? Because men never really like talk about their emotions, and it's just like a whole subreddit of men in their like 40s and 50s talking about how sad they are that they aren't having sex anymore. So like, I don't know why, but I know way too much about like that process. Okay, this chick strikes me 1000% as like a woman that's like, oh no, don't touch me, I don't have sex anymore, I don't want it anymore. And then sometimes they can go years and years and years, but then eventually sex becomes a tool to bring them closer because they know that that's what they really want. She ends up having all of the control because the husband doesn't push it, right? In this situation, she says, I haven't seen him in so long, and we had sex twice in one day, or like back to back. Really? You expect me to believe that you didn't sleep with him for months, as per what she said prior to this, and then once you thought that he had intercourse with your daughter while on Viagra, that's the time you finally decided to give it up? Right. You did that as a manipulation tool to bring him closer with sex.
Damn, shout out to you for calling that out. I caught it, but I didn't think to say it. My girl.
Using sex as a manipulation tool with your husband is like, it's
diabolical.
Up, man.
And then third night,
diabolical.
We intimate again. We're getting ready to go to sleep. We got to wake up in the morning to go sign the closing on our house at noon at the title company. And so I think it was a Friday or a Thursday. I can't remember. But anyway, so and mind you, that night before that, I had been talking to the realtor. She sent me another home listing that she thought we might like.
I want to mention, guys can do this too. Withholding sex, making women feel like they're not pretty or desirable, and they could do it for weeks or months.
True.
And then suddenly, when they want something, what happens? Y'all are fucking like rabbits. Suddenly you feel pretty again. Suddenly you feel beautiful. And then you do what the person wants you to do or act the way you want. And then suddenly the sex is gone again. Everything's gone again. People can withhold sex as a tactic.
It's a little harder to do it on women. Women aren't yearning for sex as much as men are. But yes, definitely possible.
Okay? Happens a lot. Also, dude, that subreddit, Dead Brown, is crazy.
So then the next morning, the morning of the closing, it's like 6:15, and my husband and I are laying in bed, and I woke up and I felt him like staring at me. And I woke up and I like went like this, you know, because he was like literally up on his fist like this, laying in bed, just looking at me. Mm-hmm. And I said, what are you doing? What's going on? What's wrong? You know,
so look at the attitude. So what are you doing? You're in bed together and he's just looking at you and you're like upset and just have this reaction. Yeah, you don't love this man.
Why are you just staring at me? And he goes, do you remember when we first started dating, how we used to just lay on the chase and we would cuddle and stuff? Wasn't that just the best time? Mm. And I said, yeah, that was a pretty amazing time. He goes, I wish we could go back to that. And I said, yeah, well, you know, we can't. We're older. It's been almost 10 years since that, you know.
Why can't you do that?
So then he looks at me and he goes, I have to tell you something. And you mind you, it's 6:15 in the morning. And I said, what? And he goes, I talked to a lawyer. And I said, about what? And he said,
she knows exactly about what. She wants to play like this victim clueless mentality or this card. Get out of here. We see it. We see it. I'm hoping you guys are enjoying this because this is like manipulation 101, like masterclass right here. If you can navigate through this story on your own without our commentary, I think you're going to live an okay life.
Worse. And I said, what do you mean?
Here comes the innocence.
Oh, here comes the...
We've just been looking at houses. We've just been intimate for 2 or whatever, 3 nights. Like, you were just telling me how amazing that everything was going to be. And I just looked right at him and I said, have you told my daughter this?
I don't believe you, lady. I don't believe it.
And he didn't answer me. And I said,
yes! Yes! Finally! After years and years and years of watching these videos with these fucking pieces of shit, my empathy has gotten stronger because I only feel it 10%. I do believe it.
I guess I've been doing it for too long and I felt no sympathy this whole time.
Some of the crying is true because for a lot of people, a childhood wound of rejection or abandonment is very real and can elicit real emotions. But you're not getting me, bitch, just because you're crying this time. You're not. I just heard all of this.
I'm proud of you, Bozy. I'm proud of you. You're growing. You're evolving.
And I know that you're not telling the truth. Carry on.
Did you tell my daughter that you saw a lawyer?
Oh, she's mad.
And he said yes.
Yeah. Okay, whatever.
He told my daughter several weeks before that he had got an attorney about a divorce.
Babe, we're on part 3 out of 4, and I thought you were going to tell me that you walked in on your fucking husband raw dogging your daughter. You titled...
I told you, Mosey. Like, I told you. She literally has no proof. Like, I knew it. I knew it off the rip. I called it.
My husband left me for my daughter. Come on.
And, so yeah, she knew about it before I did. And I still didn't know the extent of their relationship, and I still don't. And I'm never going to say that something sexual happened because I can't prove that. All I know is what happened to me.
I'm with Bozy on this one. Sue the shit out of this lady because she just straight up just destroyed and insinuated such ridiculous premise of the story that they were having ancestral, like incestual freaking relationships with literally no proof other than they went to Vegas together because they worked the same job.
And what it looks like.
Lying fucking bitch.
Whether they had a sexual relationship or not, they had
I almost want to get up too, but you guys know me. I'm just in my underwear, so.
an emotional relationship.
I will.
They work together.
Where's the daughter? Hey, girl. Call me. I will fund the legal defense. I will post a link. We will fund the legal defense. Sue the fuck out of her for this. Sue the fuck out of her. I cannot believe it.
Seriously, hit her up. I want to see the freaking, the fence.
So you guys saw me try to give this a chance and give grace.
But that's the problem. I think that's the problem that we do for women. We always try to give them a chance and the grace. And I think men are tired of doing that.
From the beginning, all the way till that.
To smear me, to ruin me, to isolate me, to triangulate me, to smear my name. Not only to my friends and family, but to my clients, to people around town. They ruined my ability to work. They got me put in a mental hospital when I started telling my story.
Good.
And every single thing that they said to the authorities was based off of my TikTok videos. It wasn't based off
You're doing it right now.
any interaction with me whatsoever.
Get a job.
So no, I don't know if they were sexual with each other. And I'll never know that. And I never want to know that.
Get a f***ing job. You're a f***ing loser, bitch. I'm literally not even going to watch the rest of this series. Let's go see what the daughter has to say. You're a lying f***ing bitch. To spread a rumor that your daughter had an incestual relationship with your husband because everybody was trying to get away from you because you're such a loser, liar, ass f***ing bitch is absolutely diabolical. And you just...
I'm glad everybody in the story, except for the understood and got away from that lady. Because, you get away from demons.
Deserve every single thing that's coming for you. Every single thing. Every single thing. I can't even watch her part 4. And you know what else is crazy? Yo, y'all check this out. Her original video of her crying saying, "This is a path, but it's me healing after my husband left me for my daughter." This video has 400,000 likes. So she put a sad song over a compilation over her crying, and thousands of people believed it. Bring in the kid. Okay, hold on. Daughter's response. Oh, they might... Guys, I think they're gone. No, I think all of her responses are... Maybe because they are pursuing a legal thing? No!
Damn it!
I wanted a response. Direct.
I thought we were going to get it too.
The camera from the daughter, of course, because, we just rode through so much. Selfishly of us, right? But I think the response that I'm about to show you, because it looks like the ones I have linked in my document were deleted, this response might actually be even better. I kind of like this. This is her page here, because remember, she said that her daughter was going to be on the Magnolia Network for redesigning her house, which the mom was probably very jealous of. Oh, wait a minute. We do have a little bit of a response. Look at the comment up here. "My husband left me for my daughter. Girl, ain't nobody want your man." This is her and her boyfriend. Yeah. Yo, she said, "Mom, I'm not even gonna respond to you." You're right. I wanted the response. She wanted but the mom wanted the response even more, and she didn't give it to her. Yo, talking about she was lying on her and her boyfriend the whole time. Her working, just filming the show, ignoring her mom's shit. Guys, they might have deleted it because, if there's a court case or something going on, this is her only response. And honestly, I think this might be the best response. Wait, I did say we would read a couple comments. So let's see what people said on the daughter's page. Someone said, "Listen, I need to get up and get my kids to school and get to work. Can you please clear the air for me?" Someone said, "You need to do a tell-all from start to finish on how this all began. We are so invested." Who the fuck said that? We believe mom. Sorry. Who's we? Ew. Get that off my screen.
Right?
My brain wanted to see the daughter's behavior and her demeanor to kind of compare it to the mom's, because I think we would have had a better understanding of what their dynamic is. But I think she honestly gave the best possible response that she could, because her mom wants nothing more for her to stoop down to her level and start arguing with her online. So I hope a lawsuit was filed. I hope she and her boyfriend and their kid are very happy together, and get that lady off my screen for.
Hopefully the husband finds his way, because he's just trying to escape the misery that was built around him by her, right? And the daughter, hey, shout outs to her for helping him get out of that misery. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. I really appreciate that, and catch you guys next time.